like Muhammad Ali. Okay, Mr. Ali, could you tell me what was your purpose here at the state capitol today?
My wife and I came here to advocate for this bill that will hold the fossil fuel companies, the oil companies, accountable for how they've created extreme weather. Because we lost everything in the Eaton Fire in Altadena, and our whole neighborhood was decimated. So I think it's a possibly something that could happen. You know, something that can be good, that the oil companies would kick in some funds, some money, because where's the money? Altadena needs money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a giant gap between what the insurance companies paid out to us. If we had insurance, I had insurance, but to rebuild my house is like 3-4 times the cost of my house.
So you still own the property of that house down in Altadena?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're in the process of rebuilding, but we're just in the beginning stages. You know, I'm not just representing myself, I'm representing my neighbors. You know, we're an older community. Where I live in Northwest Altadena is predominantly black, and we have, it's a legacy community. We have people who have 2, 3, 4 generations who moved to Altadena because everywhere else was redlining. So I'm not just representing myself, I'm representing all my neighbors, all the houses that are gone. Where I live, if you take a 360, there's no house standing.
No house standing.
No house standing.
Not one.
Not one.
Before the Eaton Fire,
Mm-hmm.
and before, let's just say, it decimated Altadena, when did you move there? Why did you move there? Tell me a little bit of history about that.
33 years we lived in Altadena. I raised 2 sons in Altadena. Why did I move to Altadena? Because it was black, creative, a lot of musicians like myself. In fact, I've played with a lot of us have played together. Cats have recorded albums together because it was a place where we felt comfortable. You know, everybody always talks, especially for black folks, talks about Atlanta, but we have more black home ownership in Altadena than anywhere in the country. So it was a place where you could raise your kids and have a career.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You know.
Mm-hmm. And through those 33 years, you know, as far as you living there, how was the community and how did they treated you? What are some of the things that you do, festivities? I mean, what was the way of life in Altadena?
That's a good question. Everybody knows everybody, first of all. And, you know, my wife and I, we came from New York. But when we moved to Altadena, we felt at home. And organizations, you know, my wife has, we've taught in Altadena. Now you reminded me, I'm sorry. I'm thinking
Take your
about
time.
That's a heavy question. I taught music in the local schools. My wife has taught in the local schools, and our kids were part of the NAACP AXO program, where they would go to the different AXO conventions. So we had so much support. I remember I played would play concerts, and Altadena would come on out. You know what I mean? Played the Baked Potato in Los Angeles, and I looked in the audience, it'd be people from Altadena following me around from gig to gig.
Mm-hmm.
So that, for me as a musician, that's special.
Culture.
Yes, culture. Exactly.
I know you've missed that right now. Huh?
Yeah. We're all displaced. And one of the issues for black people that I must tell your audience is that after the fires, the majority of us were sent to far-flung communities. Why? Because even black people who were middle class, who had owned their homes for 20 and 30 years, once their house was gone, destroyed in the fire, had to apply for apartments, and now they're looking at you, they're not seeing a former homeowner, they're seeing somebody black. So the black folks have been displaced further out, San Bernardino, you know what I'm saying? 30 miles out. Whereas the other people who were displaced within maybe, 10-mile radius. And that my son pointed that out to me. He said, Dad, have you noticed the black folks that had to go further out after the fire?
And you said you're trying to rebuild. You're one of the few that's trying to rebuild,
Yes.
from my understanding. And I know house insurance and things like that has been
I
an
am
issue.
lucky. I am one of the lucky ones, truly, because I had a lot of support from the music industry. Because I've been a lifelong musician. I spent my whole life in the music world, and the different music grants and organizations, they helped me out greatly. My wife's a teacher, and she was vice president of Teachers Union in her school district. She had a GoFundMe, so we both had forward-facing lives, so that when the tragedy occurred, people felt for us and said, well, let me start a GoFundMe. We didn't even start GoFundMe. Other people said, let me do a GoFundMe for you. And we benefited from that. And as I said, with me, from different organizations that benefit creative artists.
What's your living arrangements right now, you and your wife?
We have been displaced. We were out of the country when our house burned down. So we were celebrating our 43rd wedding anniversary in the Bahamas, where we had our honeymoon. So we were staying at a friend's house, and then we saw the house burn down. And then we had to go to the Bahamian government and request an extension on our visa because they were going to kick us out the country. They said, you can't stay here. We said, well, I don't have a house to go back to. So we had to pay big money to stay. And we didn't get back to LA until March. Luckily, my youngest son found us a place in that time between January and March. And he found us a house. He said, Mom and Dad, you can come home now. So we were refugees come home in March. And, obviously the fires happened on January 8th, and we didn't get back to LA until March 15th. Yes. 2 months.
Hey, but the thing is, and I want our readers to understand this, in print and visually, that you're going to try to rebuild in that historic district.
Yes.
That is something that seems like a passion right now, despite everything that's happening. Is that correct?
Yes, we are rebuilding, and I must mention that, as you know, Altadena being a legacy community, we were very proud of my oldest son. He bought a house in Altadena, and his house was the only surviving house on his block, but he had to tear the whole thing, the insides of the house, down to the studs. And he's been fighting his insurance company, and now he's having to come out of pocket to rebuild his house. So essentially, he's not much better off than his parents. We're starting from scratch. He still has outwardly a house, but he's having to redo it. And we are fortunate that we can rebuild. I have friends who didn't have any insurance. You know why? Because the black folks who bought their house so long ago, their house was paid for. And some of them said, why do I need insurance? Unfortunately, they didn't have insurance. We had an insurance, and we've had to stitch things together so we could have enough money to rebuild.
So Ali, in closing though, now thank you for sharing all of this. You said you were speaking for your people, you're speaking for your community.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Should the state government be doing a lot more than what they're doing right now?
People need direct funding. People in Altadena need money. The state government should be doing more. Everybody should be doing more. The insurance companies, they haven't done enough. They've been nickel and diming people. You've had to fight for every penny. And there's things in everybody's policies, insurance policy, they don't tell you. If you don't ask, they won't tell you. So there's hidden monies in a lot of these policies, and that's one of the issues. So we feel like we're up against everybody. State government, federal government, insurance companies, that's what we're up against.
Well, I do want to thank you for providing your time and sharing your short story. There's more questions that I would like to ask, but I know you have to be getting along here. But we do wish, and we have prayers for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you asked me these questions.
Thank you so much.